Llewellyn is celebrating 110 years. Together, these remarks comprise our history, as well as the thoughts and feelings of Carl Llewellyn Weschcke, chairman, and Bill Krause, publisher of Llewellyn. Yes, 110 years is a long time, making Llewellyn one of the oldest book publishers in America. But let's step even further back, to long, long ago, and far, far away. It was 135 years ago, on August 17, 1876, that our founding father, Llewellyn George, was born in Swansea, Wales. As a young man, he immigrated to America and first settled in Chicago, where he studied electrical engineering and then later suggestive therapeutics in Nevada, Missouri. At age 22, Llewellyn George moved to Portland, Oregon to study astrology with Professor W.H. Cheney, America's leading astrologer and the father of the future famous novelist Jack London. In 1901, in the residence he shared with two other astrologers, Mr. George founded Llewellyn Publications and the Portland School of Astrology. And in 1906, he published the first edition of the annual Moon Sign Book, which is now the oldest astrological periodical in the New World. In 1910, he published the first edition of his famous textbook, the A to Z Horoscope Maker and Interpreter, which is now in its 14th revised edition. In 1920, the growing firm moved to Los Angeles, and Mr. George added a printing plant to his growing empire. Llewellyn George wrote 17 books in all, and published 2 annuals and 2 astrological magazines. He founded several professional organizations and lectured all over the country. He was a theosophist and a spiritualist, and dedicated his life to proving the scientific basis of astrology. Before his death in 1954, at age 77, he was widely recognized as the Dean of American Astrologers. Llewellyn George followed his heart and lived his dream. He left the old world for the new. He advanced the study of the old sciences and pioneered their rebirth in a new age. He overcame adversity with success. In 1960, Carl Llewellyn Weschcke likewise followed his heart and lived his dream. He left the old family pharmaceutical business and bought Llewellyn, fulfilling 2 ambitions at once, both becoming a book publisher and specializing in the field of metaphysics, which has been his lifelong study. The first home of Llewellyn was an old mansion on Summit Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota. The mansion was indeed haunted, which was very fitting and very Llewellyn. As we grew, we moved from the mansion on Summit Avenue to an office building on Wabasha Street in St. Paul, to an even bigger office on Laurel Avenue in Minneapolis, which even included our own bookstore, and then to an even bigger office on 4th Street, again back in St. Paul. Working together, Carl and his wife Sandra built the business and pioneered new programs, overcoming adversity with success and turning Llewellyn into a world-recognized mid-sized publisher. After years of growth and change, Llewellyn made the move to Woodbury, Minnesota in 2005. Our custom-built campus finally includes an on-site warehouse. But this growth didn't happen overnight. That entrepreneurial, pioneering spirit that started with Llewellyn George has been the hallmark of Llewellyn through our history, and really came into its own when Carl Weschcke purchased the company in 1960. Despite having plenty of employees to help out, Carl wore many hats during this time: publisher, owner, bookseller, teacher, public speaker, and community leader of all things esoteric, which led him to be dubbed the father of the New Age. Now, Carl and Sandra have the joy of seeing their son Gabe himself pioneering into new media and formats, while Carl is empowered by fulfilling his third ambition, becoming a book author. Our 110-year history has included so much more than simply publishing books. Beginning with the pamphlets and magazines of Llewellyn George, Llewellyn has continued that tradition with its magazines, catalogs, and trade publications. We hosted an annual event called Gnosticon for nearly a decade that made the Twin Cities and Llewellyn the epicenter of the New Age world. We visit several trade shows each year, including the American Library Association, Book Expo America, the International New Age Trade Show, or INATS if you will, the London Book Fair, the Frankfurt Book Fair, and many, many others. But while our history has and continues to include more than simply books, It is our books that make us who we are. We've published books by some of the most respected and influential teachers and writers in the community. Among these talented individuals are Scott Cunningham, Ellen Dugan, Raven Grimassi, Konstantinos, Christopher Penczak, Richard Webster, Raymond Buckland, Ted Andrews, Deborah Blake, John Michael Greer, Amber Kay and Azrael Aaron Kay, Lon Milo Duquette, Donald Michael Craig, and hundreds of others. For those of you we don't have time to mention by name, we extend the hugest thanks. Without you and your wonderful work, we would not be able to publish the books that we do and be what we are. To all of our authors, thank you, thank you, thank you, and so much love. Of course, our friends and family who come to work every day make us great also. We've had so much fun over the years, and we continue to do so every day. From picnics and softball teams to simply coming to work, we love what we do. And that, of course, includes Llewellyn's annual Halloween celebration. Each year, employees and indeed entire departments spend weeks, even months sometimes, planning and preparing the best Halloween themes and costumes. This is a highly secretive time in the office, lest a department discover what another one is planning. There is great food, great fun, and, as always, the best costume wins. As we've grown as a company, the world has changed around us, and we've done our best to be a leader in that change. In the 1990s, Llewellyn created and launched an online bookstore and began selling titles over the internet, well before anyone knew the name Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com fame. 5 years ago, we launched 2 new imprints, Midnight Ink for adult mystery fiction and Flux for young adult fiction. In just over 5 years, these fledgling imprints have garnered countless accolades, a host of national awards, and 1 title on the New York Times bestseller list. For the past 10 years, we have partnered with art publisher Scarabeo, and we are proud to be the exclusive North American distributor of Scarabeo tarot decks and products. After several years of planning and work, we launched our new website in 2009, which includes several new features, including blogs and the ability to browse inside many of our books. For the past several years, we have maintained a presence on Facebook, where we have almost 70,000 fans, and on Twitter, where we are nearing 10,000 followers. We love, love, love communicating with our readers, our authors, and our fans. We have hundreds of ebooks from all of our imprints available in several formats, including the Kindle, Nook, Kobo, Sony, and Apple. The future of what we still call a book is richer in potential than ever before, and progressive book publishers like ourselves will serve the needs and interests of more people than ever before. Today, Llewellyn has its home in a beautiful and progressive community, and today Llewellyn is poised for new growth and new success, founded on service to true believers in a better tomorrow. People and friends of Llewellyn, thank you for helping us celebrate our first 110 years.